Hello guys, welcome back, and once again, I'm the Philadelphia Whovian. And for this video, it's going to be actually just simply a discussion. And it's a very controversial discussion because it's so early into making a YouTube channel. But this is something I just felt like I had to talk about because it's been talked about to death for so many years amongst us Doctor Who fans. And not only that, it's been a matter of controversy for way too long, I feel. And that's the controversy surrounding the character of Martha Jones and how she is hailed by some Whovians as the worst companion of all time for reasons that are completely unjustified, as well as she's an awful person, or she's just a terrible character, or she's not a likable companion for X number of reasons. And I'm gonna be honest, guys. For those of you who hate Martha Jones and think she was absolutely terrible, I admit this video will not make you happy because, quite frankly, I admit, guys, I don't get it. I have never got the hate for Martha Jones. I don't understand it. It makes, objectively speaking, this is not even me being subjective and favoring a character and ignoring all the bad spots. No, this is me objectively never understanding the hate for Martha Jones or how she could even kind of constitute as a bad companion. Now, and before I begin my argument for why all this is, I'm going to make it clear right off the bat. If you are one of those people who you do not like Martha Jones, you have never liked her, or you don't think she's great at all for any reason, it's fine. Guys, you're fine. And it's okay to disagree with me. But don't think I'm one of those people who, because I disagree with you, I'm evil, or my opinion should not be regarded. No, we both can be right at the same time. It's all down to perspectives. Even when I do my best to be objective, I'm going to admit that my opinion is still going to be a subjective one, perhaps. I just hope that I'm being objective and I'm doing my best to be objective. But this video, it's not an evil video because I disagree with you and you disagree with me. Not at all. It's simply that we disagree. And that should be perfectly fine amongst the fan base and perfectly fine amongst just two individuals or a set of people. No one's trolling anyone here because they disagree. No one is evil because they disagree. The only time you're evil is when you think that no one has the right to have any opinion but your own, and if someone disagrees with you, they are automatically evil themselves when it comes to these sort of matters. That's when you are an erroneous person, when you just feel like, someone is just downright wrong or they're trolling you just because they have a different opinion than yours when it comes to these sort of preferences. Okay, now that we've gotten that off the bat, this is going to be my video of why I think Martha Jones is not only not a bad companion, she's a great companion and is a great person in many ways. And while I do this, I'm going to be also tackling all the criticism I've heard about her over the years from not only people on YouTube who have responded to in comment sections below. Yes, I was that commenter like you guys are, but also in other videos. I want to tackle every single criticism I've heard and how, uh, my opinion, they never work or never make sense. Sorry, just being objective or trying my best to be. Sorry. So, the first criticism I have constantly heard is she's the rebound companion. Now, while I do admit, guys, that this has the right to be considered because Russell T Davies really built her out to be. It's time for us to look past what Russell T Davies has written in that way or has hinted at in that way and think for ourselves. And the fact is that just because he makes her out to be the rebound companion doesn't mean that she ought to be regarded as such for one important factor. And I am not hurting anyone, I'm not trying to offend anyone, I'm stating simple fact. Rose Tyler is not the Doctor's first companion. Those of us who know the history of the Doctor know she's not the Doctor's first companion. She's around his 30th. Yes, the Doctor has had at least 29 companions before Rose Tyler. She's not the first one. She's the first one in New Who, yes, but she's not the first one in general. She is around the 30th companion, and there probably are more. That's why I keep saying around. I'm just remembering the ones that off the bat that I can remember of his previous companions. Rose Tyler was his 30th, thus making Rose Tyler a rebound companion, objectively speaking, because she's the companion he picked up after he's lost other companions. Any companion who came after Susan, Ian, and Barbara, they can be regarded as rebound companions. But the reason why we don't regard them as that is because the writers never made them out to be, never let the audience look at them as such. This did not happen until Russell T Davies revived Doctor Who and then made Martha the rebound companion. But that's never, you could be, objectively speaking, that wasn't a right thing to do because they've all been rebound companions, but no one ever wrote them to appear as such because that's objectively, it's not a smart way to go. It's not. So for those who think, oh, Martha's just the rebound companion, well, objectively speaking, Rose Tyler also can be regarded as a rebound companion because she came after somebody else who the Doctor had already lost. Just simple fact there. It's not me offending anyone or attacking Rose Tyler's status. I'm not. She's not the first companion. That's not an insult to her. She's around the 30th. Just simple fact. So it shouldn't matter where Martha Jones falls. And if the Doctor kind of hint, if it was kind of the attitude that she was the rebound companion, that's not Martha's fault. It's the fault of the Doctor for making her feel like the rebound to begin with. No one is a villain for being a rebound. It's the person who makes you feel like the rebound who's the villain of the situation in many ways. And also, guys, I got a little secret for you. Come here. Just don't be afraid. I'm not going to bite you. We've all been the rebound at some point. I'm sorry, guys, but more often than not, whether it was as a friendship or on a relationship, like a sexual, intimate level, you have been, and so have I, we at some point have been the rebound. We were the person who came after someone else. You're not evil for that. I'm not evil for that. No one is evil for that. That's just where we fell. We have no right to attack anyone for being a rebound and making them feel bad about that when there's nothing bad about that. So even if Martha is a rebound, that is no villainous trait. It's just where people fall sometimes. I know, I have a scandalous opinion because I don't think people who are rebounds are bad. Oh, that's just me. Okay, the second criticism I get about Martha Jones. Oh god, this is just the most unfounded one of all. The second main criticism I get is she's needy. Here's why it is so ill-founded. Every time someone says it, they never give any examples of how she is. They say it and then it's like, well, she is. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? You're not giving me any examples. And even if she is needy, she's no more needy in many ways than other companions. And she's not. Many companions have needed the Doctor to save them at some point. She does sometimes too. She asks him questions because he's the time traveler. She's the one who just stepped aboard the TARDIS. Of course, she wants to know how things happen. Of course, she wants to know how things work. It's simply being curious. She's in a time machine. And this is even she wants the Doctor's approval. It's not evil to want someone's approval. And also, here comes my main point about Martha being needy. If you even have any good examples to how she's needy, here comes my main argument. Guys, the Doctor was needy-er. When it came to Martha Jones, the Doctor was uber needy. And here come all the examples I'm going to give you to why he is. They first meet in Smith and Jones, where the Doctor spends the entire episode relying on Martha. First, he needs her to work the MRI machine when she's never worked it before. Martha just figures it out really quickly and then just does it in a very quick speed of time. He needs Martha to slow down the Judoon so he can get the plasmavore and to take his blood. She does this. But on top of this, yes, the doctor was able to successfully give the plasmavore his blood. However, the problem got worse. Why? Because it wasn't until Martha identified the plasmavore with the thing that Judoon have to identify people with. She's the one who was able to do that. But here's the problem. The plasmavore, she did something to the radiation machine or whatever, MRI machine, whatever it was, that would blow up half of the Earth or scorch half of the Earth. Which means the problem got worse. I respect the doctor. He did give the plasmavore his blood, but the problem actually got worse. It did not get solved until Martha identified the plasmavore. The plasmavore gets killed. The Judoon left the hospital. Martha gave her dying breath to get the doctor awake to save half of the planet. So, literally, without Martha, the doctor could not have saved the Earth. She's ultimately the main driving force behind the Earth got saved in Smith and Jones. The doctor, yes, he gave the plasmavore his blood, but the problem actually got worse. The situation needed Martha to give her dying breath to save this man so he would save the planet. He needed Martha to do all these things. Then, at the end of Smith and Jones, the doctor shows up at Martha's brother's party. Leo's party. He was not invited. He was not given the address. He's just there, waiting for her outside of her brother's party. And then he leads her down an alleyway. This is no criticism to the doctor. I'm just being objective here. What's it called when you show up at where someone is, you were not invited, you were not told to come, you were not given the address? What's that called? It's called stalking. Stalking is a form of neediness. It's one of the ultimate, sometimes the most harmful forms of neediness because it's obsessive. That's what the doctor did. He stalked Martha Jones. And that's sometimes, I guess, what the doctor does when he meets a single woman in New who is in her 20s and is a more respectable age. It's like, 10 did it with Martha and 11 did it with Clara. Though 11 was a lot less creepy because 11, Clara stalked him first in the snowmen, so he's just returned the compliment after he finds out she's practically impossible. But, the doctor's an alien. He sometimes does not do things in, the correct format. But it doesn't stop the fact that if you show up where someone is uninvited, you follow them pretty much. That is stalking. That's neediness. So the doctor already began their relationship out in a very needy fashion. Then you've got Shakespeare Code, where he takes her back in time because, he wants to take her on a trip. He says one trip and you go back, but he takes her to this place. He does. And not only does he kind of encourage her to get into the bed with him, but then he spends a great deal of the episode leaning on Martha to help him figure things out. She gets his heart working after the Carrie Knight stops his heart. She does that, and he literally leans on her while this is happening. Then, at the end, the Carrie Knights, he needs to defeat them all. He runs out of ideas. Who's the person he turns to and who tells him the word Expelliarmus? It's Martha. He turns to Martha to save the day. He needs Martha's help. Needy. It's just the way it is. Then in Gridlock, he takes Martha to the same place he took Rose. New Earth. He takes her there. And then it becomes very clear that he lies to Martha about Gallifrey. Why? Because he needs to feel like he can pretend like everything is fine. He needs Martha in that he's using her to fulfill an image, a dream that cannot possibly come true. And I'm not making things up. It's right there in the episode. And then when he's with Brannigan and his wife, he talks about how he hardly knows Martha. He was just showing off. Why? And this is the first time that the doctor is really beginning to identify. He likes the idea of Martha being around because he needs someone to show off to and impress. It's a form of vanity. And I'm going to take this quote from a movie based on a book called Mansfield Park. It was from the 90s. It was based on Jane Austen's novel, where the criticism that the character Fanny Price gives to a man who's courting her, she said he's charming. she rejected him. She's like, I admit he's charming, but like many charming people, he has an interest and he depends on the approval of others. He depends entirely on being pleasing others. His sole interest is in being loved, not in loving. And that's what the 10th Doctor kind of shows with Martha. He has an intention of he needs someone to fawn over him and to be impressed by him. There's a vanity in the Doctor, and he needs Martha to fulfill that sense of vanity. It's right there in Gridlock. I'm not pretending something that didn't happen. Gridlock. Then you have the Daleks in Manhattan, and you have the evolution of the Daleks. The Doctor literally needs Martha when he's being taken away by the Daleks. He gives her his psychic paper. He needs Martha to figure everything out by herself, which she does do. She figures it all out, and she is doing all these things on her own, and the Doctor just happens to get away at the right time, and they meet up again. When that happens, he needs Martha to fight the pig slaves while he's getting rid of the Dalekanium, which, by the way, he doesn't do. Again, he needs Martha to do all these things. Then, in Lazarus Experiment, he needs Martha to work his sonic screwdriver for him. He needs Martha to return the sonic screwdriver. And Martha does these things sometimes, but he doesn't ask her. He doesn't always ask her in Lazarus Experiment, but by doing these things, she does in fact help him. And then in 42, he needs Martha to run and get rid of all the sun particles out of the ship, which she does do before he completely burns up and completely gets taken over fully by the sun. And human nature, family of blood. Oh my God, do I really need to say it, guys? He needs Martha to look after him in an environment that was completely racist that he put her in. 1913, he put her in a racist environment where, she endured such discrimination, and she saves his life, she looks after him, etc., and so forth, and keeps him and the nurse alive despite that they are absolutely terrible to her while this is happening. And then in Blink, he needs her to work a job for months in a shop to be his sugar mommy and financially support him. What's worse than using someone for a meal ticket? What is needier than that? And then you got Utopia, Sound of the Drums, and Last of the Time Lords, where he needs Martha to go get food while they are all now in hiding. The most conspicuous of them, the one who is easiest to identify, is Martha, but she's the one who's to go get food. My God. And then he needs her to walk around the entire planet. As if all this wasn't enough, he needs her to do this epic thing because he cannot do it himself. All of this happened in one series. There is barely one episode. I don't think there's one episode where the Doctor did not express an intense neediness for Martha. Now take all those things I mentioned. Whatever form of neediness that you're talking about that Martha has, how is it worse than any of the neediness the Doctor displayed throughout the entire series 3? What about Martha's neediness is worse than all those things that you only blame Martha for being needy, but you don't care about any of the Doctor, his neediness? Why, and more importantly, why is his neediness forgiven then? If you have a hatred for Martha's neediness, why do you forgive or overlook or not care about Ten's neediness, but you will attack Martha's? Why is it fair to do that? That is just a double standard in every sense of the word. So again, the neediness for Martha. Fine, give me some examples to Martha's neediness, and again, even if you do, put it next to the Doctor's. Which one was more needy in the end? So, third reason why people hate Martha Jones. She whines all the time. This is a reason I've gotten about Martha Jones. She whines all the time. This is so incorrect, it's not even funny. I'm going to list to you all the episodes Martha never whined about Rose Tyler or anything the Doctor did, no matter how bad he was to her. Smith and Jones, Shakespeare Code, Evolution of the Daleks, The Lazarus Experiment, 42, Family of Blood, Human Nature, yep, I included that because I'm going to get to that in a moment, how that's not whining. Then we also have Blink. Didn't happen. Sound of the Drums. That is 8 episodes where Martha never whined at all about Rose Tyler or even how the doctor was treating her sometimes. That is 8 episodes. I'd go back and watch those episodes. Tell me, where was Martha vocally complaining and vocally whining all the time? Really point this out to me, because in those episodes, sometimes the doctor brings up Rose in a very mean fashion where he's holding it over Martha's head. But Martha sometimes is never saying anything back. It's a silent pain she's feeling, but she keeps it to herself. And the time she does bring it up, it's after she has had enough. Like in Gridlock, when she brings up that she's the rebound. Well, of course she brings it up. The doctor spent the previous 2 adventures bringing up Rose and making it and holding it over Martha, and then it turns out he took Martha to this place that he took Rose to. She's only calling the doctor out on stuff he's already put her through. And Daleks in Manhattan. The only time we ever see Martha talk about Rose and bring it up is not even when the doctor is around. It's to Tallulah, and that's after Tallulah brings it up. And they talk about it girl to girl. Ladies and men in the room, don't you guys talk to your fellow friends or associates when you're having any sort of romantic feelings, no matter how pathetic they might feel? You talk to that person. It's called connecting with that person, just admitting to your feelings. You're not evil. Girl, any woman who hates Martha Jones, you're telling me that whenever you had a romantic pain inside of you, you never confided in another woman? Really? You're gonna make that argument? Really? 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 Sorry. It's just in Human Nature, Family of Blood, go back again. It's really, Martha deals with things in a silent way than more than anything else. And even when the matron and the pain she was going through with the matron, it was stuff she kept to herself very often. And sometimes the doctor didn't even see it. The camera showed Martha, but the doctor was looking somewhere else when it happened. And then it gets brought up in Utopia, yes, but that's after, Captain Jack brought it up first. And also, it's after the doctor very coldly and cruelly, after, Captain Jack says, "You abandoned me," and the doctor says, "Busy life, move along." That was cruel. Like, the doctor was absolutely cruel. And Martha, as they're walking, she said, "Doctor, is that what you do? You just get bored of us one day and then you just abandon us?" And Jack said, "He doesn't if you're blonde." And then all Martha says is, "Oh, she was blonde. What a surprise," about Rose. But it was Captain Jack who brought up this situation, number one. And number two, the doctor abandoned Captain Jack in a very prejudiced way. That's prejudice. That's not a right thing to do. Because, oh, he's an abomination now because he's immortal. Get over your prejudice, Doctor. It's your prejudice that took you to the end of the universe where the Master was, and then you caused this whole calamity. Prejudice does not pay, Doctor. It doesn't. So Martha's not evil because she calls the doctor out on abandoning someone just because he couldn't get over his prejudice. No, he shouldn't have done that to begin with. That was a really cruel thing to do. So that's another thing. When people say she's whiny all the time, which I have literally gotten from people, you're missing all the many times she wasn't, and you're taking the few times she was, you're exaggerating it, making it hyperbolic, and you're acting like it happened all the time. And that's the thing about us fans. Sometimes you give us an inch and we take a mile. Now, the fourth reason why she is considered evil, I swear to God, and this crap freaking happens. Like, I have gotten into arguments with people on YouTube about this more than anything else. Because she had a crush on the doctor. Guys, this is just how off the rocker everyone is. Martha was a human female. She's a human in her 20s who was single. When the doctor first met Martha, she was completely single. She was overworked. She had no social life, the way those doctors and interns don't have social lives. She was romantically available, which is something the previous companion in this, the Doctor had in New Who did not have when she first met the Doctor. She had no boyfriend in her life she was abandoning or forgetting about because they weren't perfect. She didn't have any of these qualms. But not only that, everyone, are you telling me those people who hate Martha Jones because she had a crush on the Doctor? You, we've all had crushes before. We've all had a crush on people. You're telling no one is evil ever for having a crush on anyone, especially if you are a single person when you're having a crush. If you are a single person, you have every right to have a crush. And another thing about that makes it quite terrible is, well, people have a tendency to forget that Martha didn't really know the Doctor like we knew the Doctor when he first entered her life. She's got this really handsome guy who falls into her life, who follows her at her and shows up at her brother's party wearing a suit to pick her up and take her off. She knows nothing about his background, the way he is. She doesn't know what type of charm, that his charm is just a general type of charm. And the Doctor also, that is another thing that's very forgotten. The Doctor was very not hands on with Martha, but he leaned on Martha a lot. If you go back and you watch it, he kind of, for the moment they met, there was no real physical barriers between him and Martha. What I mean by that is he's often grabbing her hand impulsively and running with her. We know that the Doctor does that sometimes. He grabs, companion's hand and runs, but she just met him. She doesn't really know what these, that it's not an intimate idea to him. And then he leans on Martha, like his heart wasn't working in Shakespeare code, he leans on Martha. He wanted Martha to get into the bed with him, like, instead of, she's like, well, we got one bed and all that sort of things. And he's like, no, we'll just, and he's like, he practically tells her get in the bed with him. These just, when you are a woman who might feel for someone, these messages can come across in very different ways. And then he hugs her, like he in Gridlock when the face of Bo died. He walks over to Martha and puts his hand on Martha's shoulder, and she holds him, and he needs that affection from her. This happens so very often where he just relies on Martha, and then he goes in Lazarus Experiment. He lands his TARDIS in her bedroom and touches her underwear. There are these ways about their personality where the Doctor just leans on her. And also, people forget that Martha's crush on the Doctor developed after she gave her dying breath to save him, and the last thing she saw was him. When you give your dying breath to save someone, a link can get formed and your emotions might speed up. But no one remembers, oh, Martha gave her dying breath for this person who she just met, like 2 hours ago at the very most. All people remember is she had a crush on the Doctor early on. She's evil and pathetic, forgetting she gave her dying breath to save this person. So a woman gives her dying breath to save someone. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because she had a crush. This is what you're telling me. As a woman, not just a young woman, as a woman, this is the message you want me to give unto myself. If I can do all these brave things, it doesn't matter because I had a crush on someone who didn't have a crush on me back, didn't feel for me back. And another thing that often is, overlooked is Rose Tyler had a crush on the Doctor. Why is it right for Rose Tyler to have a crush on the Doctor, but Martha is not? No, it means Rose Tyler has the right to feel for him, but Martha doesn't. You're now giving an inequality of emotion where one person has the right to feel for someone, the other person does not have that right. That is inequality in a very different sort of way because you're saying one person has the right to do something, the other one does not. The other one is evil for doing what the one you loved did. That is just not fair in any capacity. We all have the right to feel for who we want to feel for. It's a double standard if you're fine with Rose liking the Doctor, but you're not fine with Martha liking the Doctor. Complete double standard. Sorry, it just is. Also, when it comes to her crush, people say she's pathetic because she had a crush on the Doctor so quickly. Let me tell you a little thing about crushes. They can come quickly. especially if you are a single person who has no prior romantic interest. And again, Martha gave her dying breath to save him. Emotionally, from a chemical standpoint, her emotions can easily go quickly. Number one. Number two, when it comes to how quickly she felt for him. Remember, Martha was alone with the doctor, or they went on these adventures together for a long time together, which means when we people have a crush on someone, we at least have time away from them. Martha's crush, when it began to form, the doctor came back in her life and he stayed in her life for a super long time. They lived together for months together. So she didn't have time to recover emotionally from him because he entered her life soon after she began feeling for him and she stayed there. When you like someone and emotionally, in that level, and they come back in your life, the emotions are only going to get stronger in a quicker pace and not weaken because they're always in your life. That's why some people always advise when you break up with someone, you distance yourself from them because you're never going to get over it. That's a big advice in life. An advice I often didn't listen to, but hey, what can you do? So there's that. And it comes to her feelings for the doctor, guys, I have something I noticed. It's her feelings for the doctor that make her able to help the doctor in the ways she does. The doctor gets miraculous feats out of Martha where she does these impeccably brave things. And maybe it's because of her love for him that gives her the strength to overcome all of these things and just do it. It's her ability to care for him that leads to her to do these incredible things. But also something I noticed, Martha's feelings for the doctor cause absolutely no harm. People act like it caused problems in the relationship with her and the doctor. No, it didn't. That's not what caused problems. What caused problems was from the very get-go, the doctor made Martha feel like she would never amount to anything or be not amount to anything. She would never be the same or special to him as Rose was or be given official companion status. He kept putting her on this one trip and then I take you back basis, and he just made her feel inferior way too long. And this happens even before she begins to show any hints of having really strong feelings for him. Go back and watch Smith and Jones. All Martha did when she entered the TARDIS was ask him about how, well, does he have any crew anywhere? He captains the ship all by himself. And he's the one who brings up, he said, I had a companion with me before, Rose. Rose, and we were together for a time. And he says, not that you're replacing her, one trip to say thanks, one trip and you go back. He's the one who, from the very get-go, made Martha feel she was not going to be on an equal footing as Rose. When you start a relationship out with someone where you make it very clear to them you're not going to be on the same status as the girl who came before you or the man who came before you, you're setting an inequality in the friendship, you're making them feel inferior, and that's going to lead to repercussions, isolation, as everything progresses. I have been in friendships where people have had feelings for me and I did not have feelings for them back, or I had feelings for someone and they did not have back for me. Whenever that happened and people never made me feel inferior for having feelings for them they didn't have for me, the friendship still worked. Or they had feelings for me, but I didn't have it for them. I never made them feel inferior for someone who didn't come before them, who came before them. The friendship, I still have those friendships to this very day. It's not the unrequited feelings, it's how you handle that person who has unrequited feelings for you. You got to handle these things. And I'm sorry, but it's a lot more deeper than people imagine. Another criticism I get, I think number 5 we're on now, is that she had feelings for the doctor after Rose did. Like, how dare she? This is something, guys, I crap you not. Where people like, because I don't like her because she felt for the doctor and she flirted with him after Rose did. Rose was there. Guys, I gotta reply back for you. And this is something I hope to God you spot it before I even say anything. First of all, I make it very clear. If every single person in the world did not hold any romantic interest in someone just because of someone else who came before them, be they female or male, if you're not allowing someone to have any romantic interest because the person they like has a romantic history, No one's going to like anybody. There's always going to be someone who was in that person's life before you had feelings for them. This is just going to happen. You're not evil because you're flirting with someone or you like someone who has a romantic history. That makes no sense. No sense at all. It doesn't work. And also, in regards to that, it is something people never seem to notice. Martha never met Rose all throughout series 3. You want her to have a bond and have a loyalty to a woman she never met. At that point, ever met. And she doesn't even know the full history of. You see, we know what happened between Rose and the doctor, but Martha wasn't there for any of it, and the doctor did not explain it to her really that well. She doesn't know what even happened to Rose for the majority of series 3. She just knows the doctor had a companion named Rose, and they were together. Now they're not. He doesn't know any of the intricacies. He doesn't really bring it up in that way. He doesn't really talk. He just gives her snippets. That's not enough to form a real opinion of what the relationship between Rose and the doctor fully were. Why are you mad at her for not respecting the 10 Rose ship? She wasn't there for the 10 Rose ship. She doesn't know anything about that. You can't blame someone for not knowing the romantic history of someone they never met. And another thing is people blame her. They say, oh, because the doctor showed from the very get-go he had no interest in her. In the end of Smith and Jones, this is after again he showed up at her brother's party and stalked her. Actions speak louder than words, number one. Number two, just because someone says they might not feel for you in the very beginning of the relationship, of your friendship or whatever, guys, oh, it doesn't mean you stop feeling for them so very quickly. It takes time to get over feeling for someone. It does take time. And time can be a month or years. It all depends on the person. And for those people who say, well, because it took Rose a longer time to have a crush on the doctor, Martha was quick, so it was very pathetic. People have sudden crushes and sudden infatuations. They're not pathetic. It's just part of the human phase. Number one. Number two, people often forget. All right, when Rose met the doctor again, she had a boyfriend who she abandoned very quickly. Um, she had a boyfriend, so she was not romantically available so soon, but also, while I think Chris Eccleston is a very handsome guy, he is very handsome, very alluring. Um, he still, when Rose met him, the doctor under Chris Eccleston looked like a really handsome, yes, but a cool old dad. Like, Chris Eccleston looked like he could be Rose Tyler's dad. A youthful dad, but still a dad. You know, he's not going to be the ideal catch for an 18-year-old girl. But then he regenerates, and he looks like what Rose Tyler probably could imagine as a Time Lord version of Edward Cullen. Sorry, not like, I'm trying to, it's like, oh yeah, you compared that to the Twilight. You're evil now. Guys, I'm sorry, but, there were some similarities to the 10th Doctor and how Edward Cullen behaves sometimes. I I'm not saying he's Edward Cullen. I'm saying, he had Edward Cullen tendencies. In some ways, romantically lusting after a teenage girl, going to pieces without her, falling into depressions after she left, and becoming the same species as her at the end of his series. I'll get into that later on. I'm not attacking Doctor Who at all, in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying, like, the 10th Doctor looks like a young hottie. He is. And now he looks like he could be in Rose Tyler's age range. And then what happened when that happened? What happened once Rose Tyler, like, got acquainted with him, the 10th Doctor, she quickly began to have sexual feelings towards him. Very quickly. It was right in New Earth that this happened. This is their first adventure together as the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler. So actually, those people who think, oh, it took Rose a lot longer, so Martha's pathetic, remember, it actually took Rose just as quick a time to fall in love with a new face and the idea of the 10th Doctor as it did Martha Jones. Again, I think Chris Eccleston is a handsome guy, but he still looked like he could be Rose Tyler's dad, possibly. A young dad, but still Rose Tyler's dad. I know dads in their 50s who are just as hot as Chris Eccleston was. Some people just age well. So, no offense, it's like, well, she's not his ideal catch. But once she became his ideal catch, Rose Tyler felt very quickly too. Sorry. It's the same thing. People just don't forget that very easily. All right, and for the last, well, not the last one. Oh, dear God, this video has gone on for long enough, guys. I'm so sorry. But this is a criticism I don't understand at all, which is Martha's evil because she cheated on Tom Milligan with Mickey Smith. I am not lying. I have argued with people on YouTube about this. One, where is the evidence saying that Martha Jones cheated on Tom Milligan with Mickey Smith? Here's what happened on YouTube. A woman, this girl said to me, Martha's evil for cheating on Tom Milligan with Mickey Smith. And I said back to her, I wrote back to her on YouTube. I said, yeah, that was me who wrote back to you. If you saw this video, that was me. Um, I said back to her, where is the evidence saying that Martha did this? There is no evidence behind your claim anywhere in the show. I admit that, it wasn't really well developed, her marriage to Mickey Smith, because you don't see it happen, but it just happened in the background. But where's the evidence? Well, she said, well, yeah, it doesn't say it anywhere, but it's, that's clearly what she must have done, right? Guy, that happened. And then I wrote back to her, I said, no, it's not. You're saying it happened because you're basing it off of assumptions you want to think. You want to think Martha's evil, so you make up this lie about her. And on top of that, if you want to be objective, Martha never left anyone for anyone. But if you want to be objective, Rose Tyler, she left Mickey, literally left him for making one mistake that she herself made at the end of Father's Day, where she did not help the doctor when a monster was coming towards him, the way Mickey did the same thing in Rose. They both were young idiots about it. I'm not attacking Rose, I'm just saying being objective here. That's what happened at the end of Father's Day. You know, so, she left, Rose Tyler literally abandoned Mickey, just like literally threw him aside. She practically did at the end of with Mickey. And so, why are you attacking Martha for something she did do, but then you're okay with Rose, who did do something very similar to that, to what you're attacking Martha about? And she said, first of all, when did Rose ever do that? When did she ever, reject Mickey? This happened, guys. And I replied back to her in her first episode called Rose. It was at the end of it. You literally just ignored that, and then she said me back, well, she probably felt immediately bad about it afterwards, so it's okay. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You're making up excuses to why Rose Tyler did something that you're mad at Martha for doing. Martha never did that thing, but you're making up these negative assumptions behind something there's no evidence that she did do. And then she even said back to me, I hate you because well, I hate people who bring up how, Rose treated Mickey. It's like, that is so catty. And I said, first of all, I'm just bringing up facts that happened. I didn't even give any negativity behind why I'm giving up the fact. It happened. Second of all, you hate someone because they brought up something that really happened. And more importantly, you hate someone who disagrees with you. Do you have any idea how wrong that is? To hate someone just because they disagree with you and they pointed out something that was wrong with your argument, that objectively speaking was wrong. And she replied back again with, well, why are you flying off the handle? Why do you think I think I hate you? Why do you think I hate you? I'm like, because you said it. Guys, this is what you Martha Jones haters actually sound like to us sometimes, where you act like this. What do you want from us? And the people who make those arguments like that, this is are the same people who have the tendency to attack Doctor Who, especially the Moffat era, for being sexist towards women. And then you behave like this. This is why feminism, some of us just don't care about feminism when it comes to, not feminism, about feminists attacking Doctor Who. Because we've seen it so many times. There's people who attack Doctor Who for being sexist turn around and do the most sexist things and have the most sexist outlooks on the companions themselves, where they will hate a companion for having a crush and then call themselves feminists. I have seen this, guys. This is why when feminists attack Doctor Who, I'm hesitant to always, think about their mindset, because I've seen worse things happen, by women treating other women in this way. It doesn't work for me. And my last argument is, Again, people think that Martha is evil because she had a crush or these things. I'm going to just bring up all the things the Doctor did in series 3 when he traveled with Martha, and I want you to tell me now why Martha is evil for whatever she felt for, etc., and so forth. Smith and Jones. The Doctor relies on Martha to save the day, and they do save the day together, but he relies on Martha a great deal. He shows up at her brother's party, he stalks her, and then he takes her aboard his TARDIS and immediately says to her, you're never going to replace Rose, you're not replacing her, one trip to say thanks. He immediately makes her feel unequal. Shakespeare Code takes Martha to the 1500s, a time that's might be racist towards her, doesn't think about that, but I understand that part. But then they're in the bed together. He brings up Rose about how Rose, right now, Rose would say the exact right thing. She would say the exact right thing to make me feel better. The perfect thing. Again, making Martha feel inadequate. And then, but spends the rest of the episode relying on Martha. Gritlock takes her to the same place that he took Rose to. He's trying to relive the past in many ways. And he is at this point, and he also lied to her about Gallifrey and was going to keep lying to her until she sat down and forced him to tell the truth at the very end. This is a man, so he literally shows that he's going to lie to this woman, and he's going to keep lying until he has no choice but to tell the truth. Boom. Then we have, again, evolution of the Daleks. He needs Martha to fight the pig slaves. He practically sent Martha off to die because they're going to if Martha had not found a way to electrocute all the pig slaves, she probably would have died in this fight. Sent Martha off to fight and die practically. And she would have. And if he didn't think about that, well, why did he not think about that? Think, of course, she could possibly get hurt. The question is, what? Not that, this happened. I know it was a lot happening going on, but why did he not stop and think about that? This continues all throughout the series. And then we've got, Lazarus Experiment and 42. I enjoyed those in the sense that I see the Doctor and Companion really working together quite well. But then we got Human Nature, Family of Blood. The Doctor sticks his companion, sticks Martha in an environment that is racist towards her. She suffers all this injustice because of him while protecting him, while going through all this hell. Him and the matron treat Martha like crap. It is disgustingly bad. And then his human self, after she saved him and the matron's life, he starts complaining to her about how, oh, so you want me to die? What is your purpose for the Doctor? What do you do for him? Oh, why can't you be more helpful? He makes act like she's torturing him while he did all these terrible things to her. Then all at the end of the day, all this pain, all these people died, Martha suffered injustice, and it turned out all the Doctor had to do was just flip some switches on the enemy ship and blow it up. All that happened just for that. And he never apologized for any of it after that episode. Then again, Blink. He has her work for 6 months to financially support him when he caused the problem. Not caused the problem, but this is on his doing. How about he get a job too? And all the while, just bringing up Rose every now and again and making feel like she's the official companion. Tell me why whatever Martha did was evil again. No, compared to all these behaviors. And I'm going to part with you with this one concept of what this man in Scotland I met, because I know you're going to look at me and saying, well, of course you're going to side with Martha because I get this all the time because you're black. She's black. So of course you two naturally side with each other. Of course you two do. No, I'm going to this one guy from Scotland, he said it better than what I could ever say it with. He did not like the 10th Doctor because of how the 10th Doctor treated Martha. This, blue-eyed guy from Scotland. And when this one woman turned to him and said, well, why don't you like the 10th Doctor? He replied back and he said, I don't hate him, but I'm not crazy about him either. You know why I'm not? Because I've got 4 daughters. And if any man treated my daughters the way the 10th Doctor treated Martha Jones, I'd kick his ass. Any man in Scotland would kick a man's ass who treated their daughter that way. And David Tennant would agree with us. You don't treat our daughters that way. You don't treat any man's daughters that way. And then the woman who was about to argue with him, she shut up immediately. This is the... So, and again, I'm not attacking the 10th Doctor. I'm just saying that if you guys are okay with the 10th Doctor doing all these things, why are you attacking Martha? What what real pain did Martha cause? She had a crush, and then she walked away. And this is my last argument with Martha walking away. Is people complain Martha walked away because the doctor couldn't feel for her the way she felt for him. That is so childish. The doctor kept threatening to leave Martha and say one trip, and you go back all throughout the first half of the season because she wasn't Rose. He kept saying one trip and you get back, which means he had the right to leave at any time. He's the one who chose to keep coming back. But you're saying that it was okay for him to keep choosing to leave Martha whenever he wanted, but Martha can't choose to leave the doctor when she wants. He can leave Martha because of his feelings for Rose, but Martha is stupid for leaving the doctor because of her feelings for him. So his feelings are perfectly fine, and it's okay for his feelings to let him walk away from Martha, but her feelings cannot allow her to walk away from him. That is hypocrisy of the highest order. I'm sorry, guys. It just is. It is hypocrisy of the highest order. What are you saying with that? And I've heard that. I've heard that people complain about Martha leaving the doctor because, she felt for him, but no one ever talks about the many times the doctor threatened to leave Martha because of his feelings for someone else. If he has the right to leave someone because of his feelings, Martha has the right to leave because of her feelings. And also for me, that's what made Martha such a great character, is she shows it's okay to leave because of your feelings. Listen to your feelings sometimes. Sometimes your feelings are right. People will call you stupid, but feelings have to be listened to sometimes because they're the ones who show you that something is wrong. It's pain that tells you something is wrong. That's what makes her a heroic character, because by leaving, she's showing you have the right to leave when something hurts you. It's fine. And also, Martha shows that if she is the rebound companion, that the rebound can be the heroine sometimes, or the hero, whatever word you want to use for it. That's a great thing because, again, we all are the rebound eventually. It's nice to see the rebound be a hero. So guys, that's my super long video about my defense of Martha Jones. I'm sorry, I did not know it was going to go on for this long. I feel bad about that. I do. I feel bad about that. But that's just the way it ended. Whew. Yes, but again, for those who disagree with me, it's fine that you disagree with me. I'm fine with it. And to show you how much it's okay, there's videos of people, YouTube videos of people who have disagreed with me, where they said everything I've said right now, they did not like Martha for those reasons. Like one guy I watched loyally, his YouTube channel, where he's like, oh, Martha, 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 and he gave all the reasons for why I defended Martha, why he did not like Martha, or was not crazy about Martha. Even though I did not agree with one thing on that video, one thing he said, I still subscribed to his channel and I still watch his videos to this very day, because if he has the right to feel how he feels, we all do. If I feel as I feel, so does he. So does anyone. I'm okay with you disagreeing with me. I'm just asking you to understand that we both are right from our two different perspectives. And don't think I'm trolling you. Don't think I am attacking all your views because I disagree with you. I'm not. I'm just voicing my feelings the way you have the right to voice your feelings. And as long as we're not offending people while we're doing it and attacking people, we have the right to feel as we feel. And this is my video of why I will never, ever understand the hate that Martha Jones gets. I think she's a great companion. She saved the Doctor more than almost anyone else ever has. She's a great character. She's an admirable character. And she also can be a very good role model for me as a woman, but even as a human, male or female. I think she's a very good role model. So, thank you guys if you did stop by, and if you sat through this entire thing, man, you're fierce. All right, thank you guys so much. And once again, I am the Philadelphia Whovian. If you like what you saw here, please don't be afraid to subscribe. Thank you guys. You're awesome. See you soon.